Have you ever found yourself opening up, baring your soul, thinking that someone would finally understand, only to be met with a response that isn't really a response at all? You speak your truth, pour your heart out, and in return you get silence. It's a silence that feels heavier than words, one that carries a message without being spoken. They might nod, maybe even smile, but it's not a smile that says, "I understand." It's a smile that says, "You're dreaming too big. Sit back down." And you walk away feeling something inside of you flicker and die, like your flame was extinguished not by the wind, but by their indifference. Your dream, once full of life, full of promise, now feels heavy, weighed down by the weight of their disbelief. It's as if your vision has been shackled, unable to fly, restrained by the chains of their doubt. This is what happens when you speak too soon, when you spill your truth in front of people who don't have the capacity to hold it, let alone honor it. The harsh reality is you knew it all along. Your gut was screaming at you to keep quiet, to hold your fire, to protect your dream. But you ignored it, didn't you? You thought that if you could just be heard, if you could just be believed in, everything would change. You wanted to be seen, wanted someone to acknowledge your ambition, your drive, your fire. But here's the painful truth. They weren't listening to believe in you. No, they were listening to find a flaw. They were listening to find cracks in your armor, water the seeds of doubt, and drag you back to their level of despair and stuckness. That's how power leaks out, slowly, drop by drop, through words that should have remained unsaid. We live in an age where silence is often seen as weakness, and oversharing has somehow become a badge of honor. But real strength, the kind that is cultivated through Stoicism, isn't about being cold, detached, or emotionless. It's about being undefeated inside. It's about protecting your light with everything you have, like it's the last flame left on earth, because not everyone who watches you is hoping you succeed. Some are just waiting for you to fall. You think you're venting your frustrations? They think you're slipping. You think it's trust you're building? They see it as an opportunity to take advantage. They're just waiting for you to crack so they can point at you and say, "I knew you couldn't do it." You see, when you share too much, you give away pieces of yourself to people who don't deserve them, and the craziest part is, you know it deep down. You know they're not cheering for you, they're waiting for your collapse. You're trying to show them your soul, and they're sitting back, quietly measuring you against their own limits, their own fear. And before you know it, your flame that was once roaring with potential is nothing but a flickering ember, consumed by the wind of their doubt. This is why the next time you feel that urge to speak your dreams, to spill your ambitions out into the world, you need to bite down, hold it in, and build in silence. Move like a ghost, work like a storm behind locked doors. Let your actions strike the world like thunder, but don't give them any warning. Speak only after the victory, not before the battle begins, because when people don't know what's coming, they can't stop it. What they can't see, they can't curse. What they don't feel, they can't kill. If you've ever been burned by your own words, if you've ever felt that sick twist in your gut after oversharing your vision with people who didn't deserve to know it, this is your wake-up call. No more handing out your dreams like scraps. No more letting your spirit be siphoned by empty souls. No more explaining the magic to those who can't even fathom it. Smash that like button if you've ever been betrayed by your own voice. Drop "I'm done oversharing" in the comments if you're ready to move in silence, to build like a ghost with a grudge. And subscribe if you're ready to stop wasting your energy on empty words and start walking like a storm. I mean it. Don't skip any part of this video, because this message is for the ones who have been stabbed by their own honesty. It's for the quiet warriors, the ones building empires with their mouths shut and their souls on fire. Let them think you're gone. Let them sleep on you. But when you return, make sure they choke on the silence you left behind. Now let's break it down. Number 1, energy leaks when you speak too soon. There's a kind of silence that's so powerful, it speaks louder than any rage ever could. It's a silence not everyone can carry because not everyone can handle it. This silence belongs to the grounded man, the man who knows he doesn't owe the world his reactions, the man who has learned that not every sting deserves a sound. The silence I'm talking about is not emptiness. No, it's artillery. It's strength, strategy, and composure all wrapped up in one. But most people can't taste it. Why? Because they're too drunk on noise. They're too quick to prove that they're not weak. But in doing so, they become slaves to their emotions. The moment their ego is scratched, they explode. Words come pouring out, not with power, but with panic. They defend, explain, interrupt, and in doing so, they give away something precious: control. The moment you jump into a reaction, that's the moment you lose. You can see it in their breath, their shaking hands, their scattered thoughts. They've stepped out of alignment with their own being. They're no longer commanding the moment, they're chasing it. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, once wrote, "Don't waste what remains of your life in speculating about others." But let's stretch that deeper. Don't waste your breath reacting to things that don't deserve your words. Silence isn't about being passive or emotionless. It's about mastery. When you guard your mouth, you guard your kingdom. Don't allow chaos to enter through your lips. Number 2. Most people pretend to support you, but they're just watching. Let's face it, most people aren't really on your side. They pretend to cheer you on, give you fake support, all the while hoping that you fail. They'll smile and clap for you when things are going well, but the moment you face real adversity, they'll be the first ones to tear you down. Their support is hollow, like a polite clap in a room full of fake applause. Deep down, they're just waiting for you to stumble. They want to say, "I knew it." Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, warned us, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And this is what they're doing. They're wasting your time, feeding you just enough fake support to keep you thinking they're on your team, but all the while they're planting doubts. And the worst part? You're letting them. You're letting their whispers crawl into your mind, making you question yourself, question your worth. And before you know it, you're questioning your own dreams. But it's all a lie, a strategy to keep you distracted, to keep you from rising above. Don't let their voices drown out your own. Number 3. Your silence builds mystery, and mystery is magnetic. In a world where everyone is shouting for attention, silence has become one of the most powerful weapons you can wield. It's not the silence of fear, but the silence of control. Silence is not weakness, it's strength in its purest form. When you say nothing, you create mystery. People are drawn to what they don't understand, to what they can't predict. They'll wonder what you're up to, what you're building, and they'll keep wondering until you finally reveal it. But when you finally speak, when you finally make your move, they won't be able to deny it. They won't be able to stop it. Epictetus didn't need to announce his power. He understood that true strength isn't in what you say, but in what you hold back. Let them wonder. Let them try to understand you. But while they're guessing, you'll be building your legacy in silence. Number 4. Speaking too soon invites unnecessary pressure. The moment you speak your goals into the world, you open up a floodgate of expectations. It may feel liberating, like you're holding yourself accountable, putting your dreams out into the universe, making them real. But what you may not realize is that by speaking them aloud, you've also invited the world to judge, scrutinize, and weigh in with their own thoughts and opinions. People who have no stake in your success will suddenly feel entitled to offer their thoughts, their critiques, their doubts. And these judgments, whether explicit or unspoken, are a heavy burden you may not be prepared to carry. What the Stoics understood is that what is outside our control is not worth our attention. When you announce your goals to the world, you invite chaos. You give people the power to pressure you, to criticize you, to make you second-guess yourself. Suddenly, it's not just your doubts you're fighting, it's the doubts of everyone else. Take, for example, a friend of mine who decided to share her weight loss journey with the world. At first, it seemed like a great idea. She was excited, motivated, and wanted to keep herself accountable. But what happened was that every step she took, every meal she ate, every workout she completed or didn't complete, was scrutinized by others. The pressure grew slowly but surely. People who barely knew her started offering unsolicited advice, criticizing her progress and questioning her approach. And in the end, the pressure was too much. She didn't give up because she wasn't capable. No, she gave up because the noise from everyone else clouded her clarity. She began to doubt herself, and eventually her dream was abandoned. This is what happens when you share too much too soon. You open yourself up to the expectations of others. And when the weight of those expectations becomes too heavy, you crack. That's the subtle power that silence has. It protects you from unnecessary pressure. When you keep your goals to yourself, you remain focused, unwavering, and determined. You are accountable only to yourself, and you carry the strength of your own beliefs. This is why the Stoics valued silence. It allows you to focus solely on what matters to you and tune out the distractions and pressures from the world. Silence is your shield, your fortress, and it guards your peace. Number 5. Privacy protects your peace. Privacy isn't just about keeping things hidden. It's about creating space for your soul to breathe, away from the prying eyes of the world. It's about guarding your inner world, your thoughts, your progress like it's the most sacred part of you. In a society that craves exposure, where everyone is obsessed with sharing every detail of their lives, choosing privacy is an act of rebellion. You stop performing for an audience that has no interest in understanding your battles, your sacrifices, your journey. When you embrace privacy, you stop handing out pieces of yourself to anyone who asks. You stop explaining your actions, justifying your choices, or seeking validation from those who are too busy living in their own chaos. Privacy is not a cage, it's freedom. It allows you to grow, to evolve, to build without interference, without the burden of others' opinions. It protects your peace, and in doing so, it allows you to stay true to your path. The Stoics knew this truth long before we did. The opinions of others are like chains, weighing you down, holding you back. When you let others in, when you let their judgments shape your reality, you lose your power. You lose your peace. But when you guard your privacy, you reclaim both. You protect your soul from the poison of unnecessary criticism, and you retain the power to evolve in your own time and on your own terms. I remember a time in my life when I realized I had been spilling my energy, my soul, too freely. Too many people had access to my thoughts, my dreams, my struggles. I was giving away too much to people who didn't deserve it, people who couldn't appreciate the weight of my journey. It was in that realization that I made a change. I stopped explaining myself. I stopped justifying my choices. I stopped performing for anyone. And in that silence, I found power. I found peace. The world noticed the change, but they couldn't understand it. And that's the magic of silence. It creates transformation. It allows you to evolve in ways that the world won't see coming. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't owe the world your process. The only person you need to explain yourself to is the one who stares back at you in the mirror. And when you choose to live in privacy, you protect the most valuable thing you have, your peace. The Stoics understood this deeply. True freedom isn't about being seen. It's about being unaffected by the noise of the world. It's about building an invisible wall around your soul and allowing only those who truly understand you to enter. When you protect your privacy, you protect your peace, your focus, your growth. And as you do, you become untouchable, unshakable. The world will scream, but you won't hear it. You've become immune to the chaos that once consumed you. You are the master of your silence, and in that silence, you will find a strength that no one can take away from you. Closing thoughts. We live in a world full of noise, people shouting, opinions flying, everyone trying to get noticed. But the true power doesn't lie in how loud you can scream. It lies in how well you can hold your peace, in how you can protect your energy, in how you can master silence and stillness while the world around you crumbles. You don't need to announce your journey to the world. You don't need to beg for validation. The world doesn't need to understand you. You only need to understand yourself. The Stoics knew this. They knew that silence wasn't about being weak, it was about being strong. It was about letting your actions speak for you, letting your success be the loudest voice in the room. Silence, when wielded by a Stoic mind, becomes an impenetrable weapon, one that doesn't need to be drawn or declared. It just is. So if you're ready to step into your power, if you're ready to protect your peace, if you're ready to stop performing for the world and start building in silence, then let me hear you. Smash that like button, drop "I'm done oversharing" in the comments, and subscribe if you're ready to move like a storm and speak only after the victory. The world can scream all it wants, but it will never reach you. You're untouchable now. This is the Stoic way.